What's up, everyone? Welcome to a brand new episode of Spill the Tequila here on the John Rocha channel.
Sweet Jesus.
I am John Rocha, joined as always on this show by the king of swag himself, Winston A. Marshall. Winston, how are things? What's going on over there, man?
Oh my God, man. Everything. I woke up to a meeting at the day job and people so greedy that they making decisions that don't make no goddamn sense.
What?
Just making pushes for programs that aren't ready just to undercut having to pay labor. Like they're trying to automate it so quickly that they're putting a product out that is not up to par.
So like Apple and Windows basically is what you're talking about, because they basically do the same thing.
It is purely from the standpoint of the people that are at the tip top are looking to try and maximize profits.
Yep.
And in the process, do not understand that what they are about to do has the propensity to genuinely actually make their business do a lot worse.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons that this company does well is because there is this kind of white glove service.
Yeah.
And they just don't want to pay labor, so they're trying to automate everything, but it's not ready. And at bare minimum, if you asked us what would be a good way to go about that, then we could have answered that and been like, hey, consider this, this, and this. Instead, they went, fuck you. And then the next thing you know, it's just doo-doo water of a product. So that's how I spent my morning.
Wow.
And I spent the whole day trying to get the poor pup to go outside in the rain, and she is not having that shit. She said, you must be out your mind, Dad. I'm gonna sit here and just wave my tail at you like I'm not going out there, you dumb bastard. So she held it in for most of the day. It finally stopped raining, so Kristen took her outside.
Wow.
And other than that, I'm sorry we're late, folks. It's my fault. My camera decided, nah, fuck a show. We're not doing a show. So I'm just like out here in these streets, just like, can a nigga get one win, bro? Like it's my fault. The alarm went off for the gym, and I said, not right now. I'm tired, and I'm gonna go as soon as we're done. But Rocha, I think the universe has made it very clear. You either make this song or don't make this song. And then just, you're too close, man. You're too close. Full Dylon shit, bro. That's how the universe is treating me.
And it's raining. And it's raining, which adds to the whole thing, like you were mentioning with your dog. Yeah, exactly. So,
she was not having it. She was genuinely mad that a thought crossed my mind to say, would you like, because we got her outside twice in the rain. She did it. She didn't like it, but she did it. And then when she came back, her immediate thing when it started raining is to try and just shake all that fucking water in my apartment. So I had to both times we caught her with a towel, and we're like, see, you did so good. You went outside in the rain. So you get a whole pat down, like whatever. And she was like, all right. You can convince me this time, Dad, but I'm not going to do this every time. You can kiss my ass.
I just hold the dog over the toilet and let it poop.
Does it understand to go?
Yeah. I just shake it.
Wow.
I just shake it.
Just shake the dog until it goes. Bro, you better be careful. They will cancel you for less, Rocha.
That's true. It's true. No, I've never done that. I've never done that.
Did you not see it? You know, see what happened with Son Piker? The dog, it looked like it caught its nail on the bed, and they were like, he's got a shock collar. Burn him at the stake like a witch.
No, we don't own dogs. We don't know. And Lily would kill me if I tried to hold one of the dogs we take care of over the toilet. So she would kill me.
Nothing would make me happier than if the dog could learn to use the toilet. That would make my life.
Yeah, like Bruce Almighty, exactly. Just sitting there with the newspaper.
Oh my God. Boy.
But anyway, we are here on Spill the Tequila. Caesar and his show is on another channel if you want to learn about training dogs. But we are here to talk about stuff, Caesar Milan. We're here to talk about stuff going on in the world of entertainment. We're going to get into some deep James Gunn stuff because he is the flavor of the week this week with everything that happened for the Peacemaker finale, pitching lanterns, and all the stuff that's going on here over the next few months and years for DC that he's talking about, especially after that ridiculous report was debunked all over the place yesterday. We're also going to get into some D'Angelo tribute, who sadly passed away today at 51 years old after a battle with pancreatic cancer, which is such a shame. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll get in some NFL Week 6 action as well. Talk a little Dewanna Bonne and the Aces winning the title over Dewanna Bonne's Mercury and more. So we are here to have some fun on the show. Remember, it's a 90-minute show. So if you want to have your questions, thoughts, and comments read by us and answered by us, you better start sending them in now. The address is right above Winston's head. It's in the description of the chat and in the description of the video. So all right, Winston A, let's get to it. Let's talk about this man himself, James Tiberius Gunn here. He is certainly on the mind of everybody, and people were talking about him after that Peacemaker season 2 finale. Didn't 100% hit the target for a lot of people. There were some really emotionally moving and poignant scenes, even if there were some issues for me personally overall. But he's got a lot to say about that finale, and he talked about the salvation side of things here recently, talking to CBR about this stuff. And he said there's a bigger story being told that involves, say, salvation. And so that story, it involves Rick Flag, it involves Lex and Superman. There are those movies that I'm going to be directing. That's the plan right now, at least. And when asked about Peacemaker's DCU future, he said he is instrumental where Chris is at the end, what is happening between the government and the metahumans, Rick and Lex's new partnership, and all of their decisions to do what they did is all a part of the future, Man of Tomorrow, and more. So giving us a little more insight into what he wants to do after that finale and what he wants to do with Salvation, and saying that he's got more stuff he's going to be directing down the line past Man of Tomorrow. So what are your thoughts on these comments from James Gunn here, brother?
I mean, I'm not I'm not bothered with. I think the only reason I genuinely was upset with that was the big revelation is it just felt like the universe's story kind of moved forward. What happened with Peacemakers? Like you made it a situation where, like, I don't have a problem with being very character focused for a season. I think that is a good thing to do. But what, other than we got to stick together, what did they accomplish? And that's ultimately where my issue is. I'm not saying you have to beat the supervillain of the week. I'm not saying that it has to be whatever, but it doesn't feel like the main characters in the story did anything. Because, like, my best comparison as to the band's got to stick together is to go back and look at Guardians 2 and even Guardians 3, which is done immaculately with both of those movies, in my opinion, especially 3.
Yeah.
It was mainly a character-driven focus on what is family, sticking together, overcoming the stuff that's traumatized you, overcoming your blood family traumatizing you, whatever. Yeah. But they still had something that they did, and it wasn't just to push forward the MCU.
Right.
This feels like this was Superman epilogue. This did not feel, by the time that was all said and done, because Lex became the focus, because Salvation became the focus, it didn't feel like we really were focused on the crew here in this story. They were pawns in the greater game that is telling the next Superman story. And that is where I personally had a problem. So all that being said, I don't have a problem with Salvation, knowing, like, I didn't know enough about it beforehand. But like going and doing my research now and knowing that it is a like training planet used by the new gods of apocalypse and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so then that probably is what Chris heard, is some monstrosity, the dark side or Granny Goodness or one of them is using in that place. And now Chris, with no weapons and no meta powers, is going to have to figure out how to survive until someone opens the portal for him. I'm cool with that being the thing. I won't pretend like I'm not a little upset that I wasn't trying to jump into the new gods and dark side personally.
Right.
Not that I'm anti that, but we started to do that with the last universe. It doesn't mean you have to stay away, but I would have liked to explore other things personally. I still hope that Man of Tomorrow is about Brainiac. Like, I hope that is the big bad and not Desaad. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. So it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. That is where my disappointment lies. It just didn't feel like this was about what we're focused on. And I think my biggest complaint about the MCU has been, as of late, you're so focused on the big picture, you're not telling me an individualized story.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great point. You're so correct on this, Winston. I really am so glad you feel this way as well, because I've seen some people trying to defend this thing purposefully because they love James Gunn so much. And look, a lot of people have hero worship. I'm never going to stop that, but I think it's important to be able to separate yourself from the thing and from the project and look at it objectively and see what he was trying to accomplish. And in the end, it did feel like Peacemaker was just serving up Man of Tomorrow. And he literally said at the beginning of the season that you don't have to watch Superman to watch Peacemaker season 2. It's its own thing. He also said a few months ago, like, these are standalone things. You don't have to have watched this other thing. But he is clearly making an interconnected universe. At least this branch is an interconnected universe. The Superman saga, which Peacemaker is now a part of because it launches Man of Tomorrow, it is absolutely all interconnected. And now he's saying in this quote, there are those movies that I'm going to be directing. So he is planning on not leaving that director's chair anytime soon. He wants to keep directing these movies. And to me, it looks like now when you're looking at it, it looks like he almost took this job so that he could have job security and keep hiring himself to direct these movies down the road because he doesn't trust anyone else to do them. And so I think there is a kind of a, how can I say this? It's kind of cross purposes. Like either you're running the studio or you're directing all these films. The fact that you think you can do both, we've rarely seen the GM coach work out.
Forget GM coach, bro. This is worse. This feels like a Jerry Jones situation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jerry Jones.
If I'm being real, and as someone that has unfortunately witnessed this far too many times as a Cowboys fan, that actually scares me. And at first I didn't feel that way.
Right.
And I will give him credit. I think that Peacemaker season 2 was incredibly well done with a lot of the things that were there. But like ultimately, when I look back, I'm like, so what truly was the purpose of Earth X? Because you didn't fight off the Nazis. I was sure that like we were going to get Keith since he survived.
Right.
I guess spoiler alert, but it's been weeks now.
Right.
That he was going to come rampaging in, and then the final boss for the season was Keith on a killing spree. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm going to get revenge. Or he was going to pose as some alternate universe Darkseid or some, not Darkseid, Deathstroke. Something along those lines. But ultimately, Earth X didn't really serve a purpose other than for Chris to be like, I kill everything I touch. There are ways you could have done that and still told it, like, you know, like told some sort of story. Like what? Yes, there were cool fights. What did we do? That is ultimately where I'm feeling just it's how do I put this? To tell a truly good story means that the overall story is moving as well as the characters are developing. I don't mind if the characters developing is the stronger focus. We see that in plenty of middle parts. So think of like if you look at Star Wars, it really is more the development of Han and Leia getting closer to each other, of Luke really learning what it means to be a Jedi and going on that train. But what did we ultimately do? You ended up in a scenario of like, okay, Empire's invading these bases. We've got to get reestablished. We have to figure out what we're going to do. And in the process, it took hella losses. Like they were actually kind of running from something, but trying to make something work at the same time. You could feel elements of this, but when did they ever stick it to Argus? Literally other than eagerly getting a bunch of good shots on some agents. When did they truly stick it to Argus? You know what I'm saying? They didn't. They just set up Checkmate, which again, great to have that be in the world, but I would have loved for Checkmate to have its first mission to take down something, take down what they think is the main Argus base, but Rick actually got away with the damn device. That's something. That would have felt like it would have did some, other than the last episode. Hey, Chris, man, you can't do it alone, brother. You're not the angel of death. We're the 11th Street kids, man. You're right. We are. We opened a business. Kidnapped. Yeah. What?
I know. I agree with you. I mean, to me, it was such a lifetime ending for that situation, lifetime channel ending for that situation that first of all, that Vigilante is going to taser him to force him to be in that room.
I mean, that's hilarious. That was actually hilarious.
That's a funny moment. But if you pull it out and go, you're tasing a guy who is dealing with mental health issues after he's watched his father get killed and his brother almost get killed and had to scream to stop his friends from stabbing his brother getting killed, right? I know it's not his actual physical brother, but certainly a representation of his brother. You're not going to go tase the dude, then put him in a room and go, we need you.
That is exactly why that works. Like that works. That's what I'm saying. I don't think those moments are wrong. That's like I actually don't have a problem with the yacht and their closeness and all that, but it felt like you were trying to jam pack what probably was another 2 to 3 episodes into one.
Right. That was my problem. The speed of it. Yes, you're absolutely right. Too fast. 100% agree with you. To clarify my point, I am on Winston's logic on this. It was too fast. I would have bought it if you dragged it out over 2 or 3 episodes. And like Chris has to come to his own decision that after they speak to him, he doesn't 100% make the turn and he's like happy-go-lucky member of Checkmate. No, he takes a little bit of time. He deals with what they said. They actually go on a mission without him and they're in danger. Maybe they're facing Keith, who is looking for Chris, and Chris has to go and help them. And in helping them, he realizes, no, this is where I belong. And he has to confront his brother. There's power in that. Right?
That would have been fantastic. Yeah. I mean, like, hold on, let me pull up the season 2 like list just because I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. But like the number of episodes, it felt like we kind of just spun our wheels of Argus trying to catch Chris in his portal, and then he eagerly fights him back, and then they're trying to catch him in the portal, and then he runs away, and then it's like, well, we got to go get him, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just there was enough spinning of the wheels that was time we could have used on the back end to dive even further into any of the stuff that we're trying. So Keith getting his revenge, them really trying to convince him, things like that. I don't know. Like it felt like we started off what the plan was in 8 episodes. It felt like it was 12. And then they had to chop it off. Yeah. Like that's what it felt like. And I think that's maybe why I feel unbalanced. I think I believe in James Gunn enough and have seen enough of his work that it just feels like maybe you thought you had 20 feet of 2x4 to build this thing and you actually only have 10. Yeah. And you didn't realize it until you're almost done and you're like, shit. So like the thing still looks good from the outside, but it's not as structurally sound as you thought it was.
I think the snickering part of, I think Kevin Feige is kind of snickering to himself a little bit, because from what I understand from people I know behind the scenes, I'll tell you why. From people I know behind the scenes, like there is tension between Gunn and Feige. That Gunn was upset that Feige was taking credit for Guardians, right? And he didn't like that. And so Gunn, and of course, the first Guardians was not written by James. James came in after the female writer wrote almost or all of Guardians, and then ironically, it is his best script from the Guardian series, people would argue. And so there is this sense where it is his, but it's not always 100% fully his. And being under Feige's thing, it's Feige who gets the rub, mostly not James. So this idea that he wanted to do it himself, well, there's no one to tell him no. And I think on DC, and we saw that finale is a perfect example of James Gunn having no one to tell him no. And then with the Guardians films, the reason people love it is probably because Feige had those moments where it's like, hey, let's not have Tim Meadow getting face fucked by an imp through a space helmet. Let's get rid of that stuff. We're losing the plot here a little bit. You're going a little far. Let's not do that meta thing where you bring in the band who sang the song that is the song of the season, and we really focus on, let's not do that. Let's do other things here. We can use this real estate for character development. And listen, this show, one of the reasons I started the show to do with Winston is I like to talk about stuff they don't talk about in other shows. And we're going to talk about people of color issues, how they treat characters of color. Adebayo was so sidelined this season. It drove me insane. She was just, he's my best friend. He's amazing. Let me tell you how great Chris is. Let me prop up the white hero constantly. And then we go to Earth X and you go, okay, now there's a situation here where one of them got out. That's what Keith says. Where is the them? Where did she get out from? Where are the black people being held?
That was the thing that bothered me.
Right. Why aren't we exploring that? We're not exploring that. We're going to jump out. You know why? Because we're going to use Earth X to help the white hero, not the black person who is actually going to be hunted down by these people in the streets. And yes, it was satisfying to have
Judo Master shock.
I was calling him shock. That was satisfying, but that is that's you having a temporary solution when you presented a way bigger problem. And to me, that was frustrating. You know?
I was going to say, like, what her being chased reminded me of was in Guardians 2 when Rocket steals the batteries. So then they get in their ships and they start chasing them down, pissed off to all hell. The first time, not the second time near the end, but the first time, that's what that kind of reminded me of. And I think that would have been like
Yeah.
The moment I think we got a very powerful moment between
Sure.
Ads and Judo Master.
Yes.
Both about, I don't think that our Earth is that different than this one. It may
Right.
look like it on the surface, but I think there's a way too much similarity here, one way or the other.
Right.
And also Judo Master being able to talk to her and be like, have you ever thought about the fact that you keep saying she doesn't believe in your dream, she's killing your dream? Have you ever thought about that you're not supporting her in hers? So I actually think what went down with her character development was very well done, and I appreciate that. But yes, you opened a can of worms of one. You're exactly right, and I never thought about this, but you're exactly right as far as why I was like, why were we on Earth X? Where are the Black people and the Asian people, and where are they being held? Because if they got out, that means they're alive. So are they enslaved? Are they being tortured? Or what, like, are you using them like the Matrix, like batteries? Like, what specifically is going on with them? And if you're not planning on coming back to this world where it doesn't necessarily feel like it, you didn't necessarily need to come to this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. I think Earth X is too big of a storyline to just make it a kind of quick little teasing point. And what sucks about that is that, again, I think James opened an incredible door for conversation and happened with some of the things that were played out there. But again, that to me would have been more important than trying to set up Argus. Is let's play out Earth X and see how this goes.
Yeah, because I think it's important to understand this. Creators, and I don't care what color it is, if you present a concept like this, and it is a massive concept. And by the way, I want to be fair. This happened in Falcon and Winter Soldier too, which frustrated me. If you present what's it like to be a Black superhero in a white world, in a mostly white world, like that is really serious shit to open the door with. And you've got to explore it. Shall I present to you Andor? They explored what that situation would actually be like in really intelligent, gritty, honest, and brutal ways. And I think this is the situation when it comes to these creators in the comic book world. If you're going to open the door to this shit, you've got a responsibility to be honest about this shit and explore it. You know what we're not talking about? After everybody kissed James' ass after the, and including me, after the Earth X episode, we're like, oh my God, the guts to say these things, the guts to show the Nazi flag in the United States colors, the guts to have, as you said, Judo Man and Judo Master and Adebayo talk about the country and how it's not that far removed from a Nazi world. And then we completely don't address it at all in the next episode. And what's everybody talking about now? Salvation. No one is talking about Earth X. No one is exploring the fact that that happened. And I've even some people say like, well, what'd you expect them to do? They're fucking heroes. I expected them to fight and try to stop, at least try to liberate some of the people who are being held by these people in Earth X. And the fact that Augie was actually not a racist and said, I try to fight where I can. There were possibilities to fight.
There was a lot there. And I guess that's my problem is that, again, that's where it felt like Superman epilogue versus Peacemaker season 2. You set up all of this awesome shit to really dive into just to go, it was just so Argus could get salvation. That is why I was, and I don't think I've been able to articulate it properly until we just talked it out right now. I was trying to figure out specifically what it was, but I did talk about it in like my season finale review of this feels so much like Brave New World. It's upsetting because Brave New World's issue was this was the time to explore fully. He has the mantle now. What does that mean? But it was not about that. It was a Hulk movie. It was a Hulk movie that featuring Sam. Yet again, he was featured in his own movie. Probably the most interesting storyline that was going to be there is you were going to re-explore Isaiah Bradley. He's finally trying to step back out and retrust the world, and the world betrays him again. That is such an interesting conversation to have, but that is not what you did. Instead, it was, you know, there is a celestial in the ocean, and it's made up of adamantium, and the world wants to take it. What we gonna do? And you didn't even really dive into that either. It was just the leader kind of getting his revenge and making another Hulk. There were just so many things that don't work with that because you weren't focused on what the main thing was.
I know, and it's so frustrating. I'm so tired now seeing these companies who present these concepts and think that's enough and think doing the bare minimum is enough. Someone said in the chat, and I totally respect this. They're like, well, if they dove into Earth X, it would take 7 episodes. I agree with you. So don't fucking do it.
Either don't do it or make that the focus.
We don't need the catering. We don't need the catering. We don't need you to make your little political points if you're not actually going to explore. We're way past that in the conversation of politics in our world now. If you're going to explore political things and you're only going to like touch on the surface of it, fuck you, get out of here. Dive in or get the fuck out of the pool. Like, it does not make, or don't come near the pool, rather. It does not make any sense to present it if you're not going to explore it, because I think that's more insulting now than if you weren't even going to mention it, you know? And so, because you're using it for shock value rather than respecting what it would be like to have a Nazi world that enslaved Black people and people of color in camps to do their job. Like, that would have been fascinating. But no, let's go watch Tim Meadows getting face fucked by an imp, or let's go into another world and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, let's watch the imps eat people's faces off. It's like, oh, or let's watch Lex Luthor's Scooby-Doo crew doing blow off the fucking monitors. Like, this is the kind of stuff.
It's not that that's not funny or interesting, but that was not, but compared to what you decided to address, it feels like a cop-out. It literally feels like you go to the office and they're like, hey man, you know, we see our Black brothers in here and how they're being treated. So we're going to really do something about it and talk about it. Oh shit. Okay, bet. What we doing from now on? Y'all can come in an hour later to the office. All right, great, everybody. Let's keep going. What the fuck? That's it. You know, that's cool. And I appreciate that. I think it goes a little deeper than letting me get an extra hour of sleep every morning. I don't like, I don't want to because like I don't think anything that Gunn did was in any way, shape, or form like racist or nothing. So I wasn't gonna say something so I wasn't gonna say something like y'all get watermelon and chicken every Friday, like nothing like that. But specifically, it felt like a kind of here you go, and then kept it pushing. That I don't. That's all. It's just the story of Earth X is literally the idea of what happens if Nazis win and how that affects things.
Yeah.
The only thing that we studied about this was that Chris's ass is so into himself, he didn't notice bigotry happening around him. What else? And other than Ad's great line with Judo Master, what else did we really garner out of that? Honestly, what did we get?
Who do you have telling Chris that he missed the signs? Another white person.
Why Which is fine. I don't hate that. The reason why I don't specifically hate that is because there's this idea of
I'm gonna give you the solo shot on this. I have to check on something real quick. Sorry. I'll be right back.
You're fine.
Go ahead.
You're fine. So the reason why I actually don't hate the idea that it was Harcourt that explained that to Chris is I do believe personally that yes, we need to all be learning from each other. I think in a lot of ways, there's a reason why people get upset when it's like, you need to talk to your parents or your grandparents or your uncle or whoever, is because you're more inclined to actually hear somebody if they have an emotional attachment to you than somebody if they don't. There are exceptions to that rule, but it makes more sense that like my parents are very like progressive, positive people. There have been times where I've heard my dad say something kind of sexist, or I've heard my mom say something, you know, a little questionable and things like that. And they don't mean anything negative by it, but it's coming from me to be like, that's not cool for this reason. It's completely different than a stranger being like, you motherfucker. Like, so I don't mind Harcourt being the one to be like, Chris, open your eyes, bro. And if anything, the only thing that would have maybe upped it is ads kind of showing why that's an issue one way or the other. But I do think that speaks to the idea of you are your brother's keeper a little bit as far as that goes. So I actually don't hate that Harcourt did that. Not sure when John's coming back, but yeah, I just, again, I think there was so much good and even some greatness in Peacemaker season 2, but I think ultimately because of where we landed, you didn't stick the landing for me. Even some of the stuff in there that was really fun, I just didn't feel like that really got us in a place where I walked away from that show feeling fully fed. If anything, I felt very similar to how I felt, and I said this in my review as well, at the end of House of Dragon, this most previous season. This felt more like that, where in that case, that actually we had more episodes, and they got cut off at the pass budgetarily wise, so they did have to end it early. That's why I mentioned that's what this kind of felt like as far as being rushed, is because it gave that same vibe. This feels like, John, that I was just saying, that House of the Dragon ending on, we have our dragon riders and season. And that was because of budget. I know that. I don't know if that's what happened with Peacemaker here, but it gave me the same vibe of this is incomplete.
And again, this is like, it's setting up the next thing, and which is what he promised he wasn't going to do, and now it's happening this way. And so, now we'll see what happens. And now there's a big story going around with, what's going to happen to WB. So who knows if James is even going to get to finish his vision down the road. We will see once the dust clears and they sell WB. But, at this point, I think most of Peacemaker season 2 was a true joy and really interesting exploration of mental health and relationship issues. But and I thought those 2 scenes in the show were really great between Adebayo and her girlfriend. And by the way, again, another reason they undercut Adebayo, there are no scenes with her and her girlfriend, except for 2 scenes in the whole fucking season, and you're going to lead to that incredible conversation. There should have been more scenes.
A little bit more dragging that out.
Talking to her mom, even if we don't see Viola Davis, why isn't she having emails
or something?
Mm-hmm. And then why aren't we seeing scenes with the girl who plays her wife? Or girlfriend, rather. Why aren't we seeing?
I thought they were married. Were they not
they're
married?
Sorry, are they married? Okay.
I thought they were married and getting divorced. It doesn't matter. But the point is her partner. I get it. Yeah.
Why aren't we seeing scenes with her dealing with seeing the news about what's going on with Adebayo, seeing the stuff? We should have had more time with them, so that when we should have cared for that relationship more. So when we get to that scene, we really feel that. Look, it was well acted by 2 damn good actresses. It was well written. I'm not going to complain.
It was incredibly well acted and well written, as far as if what they gave us was well written.
Yes.
And then in almost the technical sense of things, but it just wasn't complete, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which, one other thing that somebody just said in the chat, and I actually agree with pretty heavy.
Yeah.
What would that have been like if Chris, seeing that things were effed up, even if he had to be told it by somebody else, became a liberator for Earth X? Yeah. What if that was the salvation he was looking? He keeps thinking he's the angel of death and everything that he touches turns bad. What if he's the one that helps start turning the tide of Earth X to be like, this is actually awful and not the right way to go about things? Right. That would have also spelled leaps and bounds for trying, because then again, you are taking something on. I don't feel like the crew of Peacemaker took anything on this season.
Yeah. And I don't know how you have a finale of Peacemaker and not put him in the Peacemaker costume. I'm just why would you? It's called Peacemaker. You got to have him in the costume. And I get it. Emotional storylines, I'm all for it. Too many people are pushing that straw man argument and gaslighting people. Oh, you all just wanted suits, or you all just wanted action for that, which is utter bullshit. There's a lot of legitimate criticism to go on with that finale. And so,
especially when I can look back at the first season of Peacemaker, and you found a way to do all of this.
Yes. And
that's the problem. It's lacking what felt like a complete story in the first season. You took on the whole butterfly invasion crisis, but how that was actually not as nefarious as it seemed, but it sort of was. The growth from Chris being very full of himself to having to find friends, to even them seeing him as a dumb idiot, but then giving him respect that's due. there was so much that happened simultaneously,
Yeah, agreed. Well, he went further on, because we went right into this thing, but he went further on to say that he, as I said, there's gonna be movies that he's gonna be directing. That's the plan right now. He says, at least I may get so effing tired that I can't do it, because I'm pretty tired, but we'll see. But there's a plan that I'm gonna do. It's a couple more at least. And I think this is where we're hitting the wall. I think a lot of people speculated that this finale shows you that James is spread too thin, right? That was the big complaint against Kevin Feige, that he was spread too thin, which is why with all these Marvel TV shows and Marvel movies, that's why we weren't seeing the same quality, in the amount of quality as we'd had before, is because he was being spread too thin. And it feels this way with James as well. So if you are getting too tired, stop doing the podcast. Stop doing all this extra shit. Stop going on TV shows to be a guest judge on anything. Focus on writing the stuff, getting it well, or finding the people who will be able to do that kind of stuff. I just don't understand the logic here. You can't complain about being tired if you're doing all this extra shit that you actually don't need to be doing in order to keep everything in a certain place. Why aren't you letting one of the DC people who host the show that they have the DC show why aren't they hosting the podcast for Peacemaker? Why are you hosting it? So it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, have him on pretty regularly, but then
sure.
back off. And I think the other thing is, because you got to remember now, he's already done how many DCU projects have we had so far?
Creature Commandos, and Superman, and now Peacemaker season.
So he literally wrote and virtually directed all 3.
Yes.
So the way that he started out wasn't like I would have been. I loved Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
And again, there was a lot that I liked about the season of Peacemaker, and I genuinely enjoyed Superman.
Yeah.
Dude, do one, because you're supposed to be the Feige, and my like it's his studio to do with as he pleases, but there's a thought process there of, let's say they're supposed to be in phase 1 or chapter 1. There's 5 movies and 5 shows. Direct/write 1 movie, direct/write 1 show, and then bring the team in, because there's a reason why Nick Fury is not in the field and he sends the Avengers to go do shit. There's a reason why typically, like Batman does get in the field like that, but he's also a freak. Yeah. But the number of times, like, did you watch the Justice League Unlimited cartoon and everything?
Yeah. JLU. Yeah, of course.
So there's a reason why when the JLU actually kicks in and John Jones goes away.
Yeah.
John is staying in the tower most of the time and only goes down when he absolutely has to. And then when Mr. Terrific takes over for him in the 2nd season, he stays in the tower and he's sending people out. And he only goes down when he has to.
Right.
You have to, if you're the leader of the Justice League, my guy, if you are the tower's like brainchild, you have to understand that you need to delegate that out and only show up on the battlefield when specifically your skill set is needed.
Yep.
And just because you're doing something so grand, if it was just a trilogy, that's completely different. That is, you're talking about a whole franchise.
Right.
So
yeah, you don't have to direct everything. Like you're choosing to do that because you are a control freak and you think that only you can tell this story because it's your story and you're able to. And look, I get it. There's a side of this. It's like, well, he's getting a chance to fulfill a childhood dream, to do this story and to do this stuff and, do a Superman saga and all these. I totally understand that as a fellow comic book lover. Winston, you and I can both understand that to be in this position, but this is not what you had promised. You had promised that you were going to be co-running a studio with Peter Safran, and that it was going to be you, like the Kevin Feige of the whole situation. But Kevin Feige doesn't come down from the tower to direct an entire branch with its other branches of the saga, which is what you're doing with the Superman saga. Forget Gods and Monsters. That doesn't even really exist anymore, honestly. It's just focusing on the Superman saga is what he's doing. And yes, there's a Supergirl, but of course, he's probably on the set all the time with Craig Gillespie. And then you've got Clayface, which is going to be its own thing, and that's a fun little thing. But like it just feels to me like it's too much.
It's one of those things where just again, to go back to the John Jones in the tower, the Mr. Terrific in the tower type situation. It's when you're kind of even better yet, take it to anybody running just a general company as is. The CEO is not supposed to be out in the streets selling the product and fixing the product and doing customer service. You literally, if that's the case, then you don't start a company. You do it all yourself. The reason you have a company with all those employees and you pay them good money to do it is purely from the standpoint of there are things you will handle directly and there are other things that you need to delegate to your people. So like I remember, taking on a smaller level to like when I used to work for Apple. My store lead knew how to do everything. She could, because she trained to do that.
Right.
She could work the floor. She could work the business center. She could work the Genius Bar. She literally could do everything, but she only stepped in if it was something really important that she needed to.
Right.
Otherwise, she hired her people and made sure they were good to do whatever. And then it's the same thing. If you want to do Superman, awesome. Do Superman. Right. Let everybody else run shit. Like, let them do that, and you go, nope, I'm not feeling that. This is what I'm looking at. Go back to the drawing board and go. that's the kind of stuff that you need to do. And I think that that's where the MCU success is Feige still had a controlling hand, but he had directors and writers bringing his vision to life.
Yeah. And there's a way to do that where you still get the credit that he so desperately wants as James Gunn's universe, because people would say, no matter who you hire as a director, it's very clear that it is you're the guy in charge. And so you can still be the guy in charge and the guy that it gets the credit and the blame when stuff doesn't work. So to me, to indulge in your own personal desires to direct this stuff, which was never the plan from what you presented, this Superman family saga, that was never the plan at the beginning, then to me, I think there's a little bit of, he's not telling the full truth of all of this, and he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. And I think that's a little frustrating. And yes, someone pointed out that he was on Greg Alba's show, no surprise, and then saying like, hey, because they love him over there. And he said like, hey, I'm a little burnt out writing this season. And I'm like, yeah, of course you are, because you're trying to do all of it. And instead of just kind of delegating, which is what great leaders do, you are trying to control all of it to make sure it comes out exactly the way you want it to. And I think that's
my only warning. I have nothing but love for James Gunn. And again, I think overall what we've seen has been good stuff. But my warning, not that he listens to me, I don't know him, but do not turn into Jerry Jones. That like I said it earlier, I'll say it again.
Yeah.
It maybe sort of worked at the beginning with that 90s dynasty, but how quickly did that fall apart? And that curse reigned for now over 3 decades.
Right.
Do not back yourself into a corner that you feel that you have to be owner/GM constantly.
Right.
And you get so used to doing that that then when you do try and delegate a little bit and people screw up, then you this and you blow it up, and then it does like just please. I can only deal with one Cowboy situation in my lifetime at a time. As long as Jerry is still here, I don't need this to be the same issue, because I think that will ultimately catch up to what's going on. But again, I don't think this is a start ringing the fire alarm, but I do think you're looking at it and you're just like, okay, kind of look back. You're just like, okay, well, it's over there if I need it, but we're okay.
Yeah. And look, JM, I get your point. He said, James, is to give credit, 3 projects and only 1 episode is being called a failure. What is the actual complaint?
But see, that's the thing. That 1 episode of a failure legitimately made the rest of the season be questioned. You were going so hard in the paint, and you literally think of it this way. If you're a pilot on a plane, your takeoff could be immaculate. There could be 0 turbulence. But if you get to go land the plane and you end up skirting wrong and you pop the tire and the plane flips and that's not good. You know what I'm saying? That now the flight is no longer a success.
Right.
The finale of a season is, and it's not just that, even with a movie, act 3 of a movie, how you conclude a movie, if you don't nail the landing, who the fuck cares about everything that came before it?
Right.
So to say that 1 episode, if the middle of the season had been a failure, I'll give you credit. That happens all the time.
Right.
The end of a season, that is the one thing you don't mess up. There's a reason why the saying is, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Right. And listen, who remembers the 18-1 Patriots season? Nobody. They remember the Giants beating the Patriots.
That's literally what nobody really talks about, that they were undefeated till the Super Bowl. They talk about Eli Manning figured out how to beat Brady in what was supposed to be the perfect, that is what they talk about.
I mean, JM, you could use your argument to go, but they won 18 games. Nobody gives a shit. You lost the fucking most important.
The Warriors won the most games in regular season history, beating the Bulls, right? Yeah. Guess who doesn't care? Anybody, because LeBron James somehow beat them in a 7-game series, coming back 3-1. That is what we talk about in there. Right. We don't talk about them being the regular because they didn't finish the job.
The Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 times in like 5 or 6 years.
Nobody talks about them. They were a force. They got their ass whooped in the Super Bowl 4 times.
And nobody talks about them as being this amazingly great. Those all talk about the fact they couldn't get the job done. That's how it works. So do you understand what the complaint is now, GAM? That's what the complaint is. So yeah, look at all of it in the whole the whole thing. And don't act like the Creature Commandos finale nailed it, because a lot of people had issues with the Creature Commandos finale as well. So
it wasn't my favorite, but I didn't have that much issue with it. I thought it was still good, but This bothered me more. Clearly, we talked about it for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I know, we just did. I got, man. All right, well, let's move on.
Oh my God, Haskell, the 28-3 lead by the Falcons in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Like, again, nobody's talking about, man, them Falcons were kicking ass. They're going, how do you blow a 28-3 lead? That's what they talk about.
Exactly. Hey, look, you can date a woman all you want and court her and treat her really well, but once you get in the sack, if you're not good, that's what she's gonna remember. It ain't all the great dates. It ain't all the great dates. It's how you finish, son. Well, let's say there's no easy way to segue into this, but we should talk about this, brother. Let's leave the world of DC and James Gunn and let's get into this. D'Angelo, I heard about this today as I was driving in the car, taking the Lady Outlaw, who's finally over her 10-day COVID, to run some errands. And we heard the news that D'Angelo, the legendary R&B singer who helped pioneer neo soul, died this morning after a bout with cancer. He was 51 years old. The family confirmed his death in a statement saying, "The shining star of our family has dimmed his light for us in this life. After a prolonged and courageous battle with cancer, we are heartbroken to announce the passing of Michael D'Angelo Archer. We are saddened that he can only leave dear memories with his family, but we are eternally grateful for the legacy of extraordinary moving music he leaves behind." You know, for me, obviously, I go to Brown Sugar. That's the one that I had no idea who D'Angelo was till I heard that song. And then all these other songs that came afterwards. Yeah, and Jamel Hill said he released 3 albums without a skip in any of them. That you can just listen to them back to back. They're amazing.
Rocha,
your thoughts?
If you were trying to show Lady Outlaw the night of her life, just put on the D'Angelo albums back to back to back and go to work, sir. It is there's a reason why when the untitled "How Does It Feel" music video came out.
Oh yeah,
every woman that listened to R&B had that shit on repeat, bro. Like he did not F around. So nah, man. This is rough. This is genuinely rough. And I think what's bothering me about this is, like, again, you know, F cancer for real. He was only 51.
51.
That's so young. And just the idea of, we joke about the Michael Irvin, we're losing recipes, but like, we truly are losing recipes, man. It feels like we're just losing people left and right. We lost Diane Keaton.
Yes, I was
also only in, I believe, how old was Diane?
79,
which, definitely older for sure. But like, we're just, it's not good. It's not good. Like, the rate it feels like we are losing people left and right, man. And D'Angelo is definitely one of those. Diane Keaton too, both in that orbit of like, that one's going to hurt a number of people. And there, I can only think of a few folks that it's going to hurt even more. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, knock on wood, when like we lose Denzel or Jay-Z or, hopefully a very long way away from this, but like, because she just retired and has kids, but like Serena Williams, like, and what she's done for the thing, like, if she goes early in any form of fashion, again, knock on wood, let not even be in the fucking universe, like, it's going to be devastating. The way that losing Kobe so young was devastating. God. The way losing Chadwick so young was devastating. So this is rough, man. So sending healing energy to his family and anybody that, was a fan of D'Angelo. And Diane.
And especially his son, right? I mean, his son, is his mom was Angie Stone, who died in a car accident. So the fact that he's lost both of his parents to these tragic situations, I mean, it's devastating. And he had the grace to send out a message saying, "I'm grateful for your thoughts and prayers during these difficult times. It's been a very rough and sad year for me. I ask that you please continue to keep me in your thoughts, as it will not be easy. The one thing that both my parents taught me was to be strong, and I intend to do just that." So, you got to send out the strength to him as well. And I will say, on a personal side, like, D'Angelo was from Virginia. I grew up in Virginia. I mean, I was born in Philly. We were only there for like a year. I was raised in Virginia. So when there's not a lot of artists that come out of Virginia, like Bruce Hornsby, there's only a few. And D'Angelo was one of the big ones that come out of Virginia. So I had like a personal interest in seeing his success. And he was one of these artists, Winston, that was not an artist that was like, all right, finish my album. Let's move on to the next album. Like there were large gaps in between all three of his albums.
95, 2000, and 2014. And then he had a compilation album in 2008. But like the thing about Brown Sugar Voodoo and Black Messiah, man, just to give y'all like an idea, nominated for the Grammy for not only best R&B song and R&B album for Brown Sugar, nominated for best R&B album for Voodoo and won best male R&B vocal performance for Untitled How Does It Feel, and then was nominated for best R&B album for Black Messiah and best song in Really Love, and won both of those. He was also nominated for Record of the Year that year. So like homie didn't miss. You know what I'm saying? Like he legitimately did not miss when it came to putting out records. Like he was very meticulous with what he did. And so that just speaks to how he only lost to because that was a rough year, 2016 for Record of the Year. He lost out to Uptown Funk, but that category was Uptown Funk, Blank Space, Can't Feel My Face, his song Really Love, and Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. That's an insane group of people to be going up against for Record of the Year. That's crazy. So
and the thing is with him, he worked also on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill's like just like signature album in '98, and he became really great friends with Questlove, and they would perform with Prince on occasion before Prince passed on. Like imagine being in an audience with D'Angelo, Prince, and Questlove on stage, dog.
Dude, so Rolling Stone ranked D'Angelo 75 on the list of 200 greatest singers of all time in 2023. Right. And then Billboard listed him the 45th best R&B singer of all time in 2025. Like, again, we are not dealing with a scrub here. Like, homie was out here in these streets killing it. But yeah, like, and let's see, in 2016, his third album, Black Messiah, Beyonce's self-titled album from 2013, Run the Jewels 2 from 2014, and Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly were noted by the Yale Herald as the groundwork down for the politically charged releases that happened in 2016, which included Rihanna's Anti-Kanye West, The Life of Pablo, and Beyonce's Formation. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like he was out here doing things, man.
He was. I like what Chef said. And he was naked in that video, which was awesome. Yes, a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. Every single woman that listened to R&B like that had that video on repeat and kept looking at a man like, why ain't you got abs in the cum gutter like that? I don't. What are you doing?
Every time I saw that music video, I would just throw my hands up in the air. It's like, what are you gonna do?
How does it feel? Like oh man.
My brother Bruce in here, he legitimately brought back the church organ to the masses. Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Fantastic point, Bruce. So, yeah. Sadly, we say rest in peace to D'Angelo. Thank you for all the music, and thanks for being an incredible artist and for influencing so many people, I'm sure, who came after you with the work you did as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to some NFL stuff. Winston, we're running out of time here, so we know we got to get to it. Week 6 happened over the weekend with a big fight between the Chiefs and the Lions out here. Branch getting suspended for a game on it, but it certainly featured the return of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is, I think, the third game in a row where they scored over 30 points, which is something they hadn't done in a few years. So much to our chagrin, brother, the Chiefs are not done. The Giants continued winning and destroyed the Eagles 34-17.
Bro, I do you understand how badly I was waiting for the show to come back around? Because this happened on a Thursday, and I was like, oh, let me just fucking relish in it. I was like, yo, where El Boogie at? Where all these people that are like, man, you just jealous of the Eagles. Am I? Or do you have a problem? Yeah. In what world do you lose to Jackson Dart and Scatterboo, who I will give them credit? I will give them credit, but Scatterboo has been munching on the 64-pack of Crayola crayons, bro. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Him and Fitz, they like slam naked chest together on the set of it was insane.
Bro, the people talk about, the way we say hi is he headbutts me. That's how we do things. Like people, they're like, we love Scatterboo. He's an idiot. But we love him because he plays just like rough and tumble. Hey, we'll get a touchdown. Like that's just how he rolls. So that
That was a shocking one. The Broncos took care of the Jets in London, 13-11. The Colts went to 5-1 now under Daniel Jones, beating the Cardinals. The Chargers came back and beat the Dolphins after the Dolphins had come back on them. The Patriots are looking like they have found their magic again, beat the Saints 25-19. Steelers took care of the Browns there with Dylan Gabriel making his debut as a starting quarterback. The Panthers squeaked by your Cowboys, bro. Shocking, 30-27. The Seahawks beat the Jags 20-12. The Rams took care of the Ravens 17-3. That season is over, and Lamar should not come back, for God's sakes. The Raiders beat the Titans 20-10 and caused Brian Callahan to be fired a day later. The Packers beat the Bengals, who are being led by Joe Flacco, and the Buccaneers crushed the 49ers, who lost their linebacker there for the season. And the Chiefs
Jones came back down to earth.
Mac Jones came back down to earth for sure. The Chiefs took care of the Lions, as I said, to start off this segment. The Falcons took care of the Bills last night. And sadly, my Commanders blew it in the end with Jaden Daniels fumbling that handoff to Bill, and Jake Moody, who honestly needed a redemption arc, was called off the practice squad from the Bears and kicked the game-winning field goal. So an interesting slate of games here, man. What else besides the Eagles game do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about your Cowboys?
No, I want to keep talking about the Eagles. No, I'm playing. I mean, I think what's going to bother me is I think that Dak Prescott is having as good, if not better, of a season than Baker Mayfield, to be honest with you. And yet he will not be in the final MVP conversation if this team cannot somehow rally behind him and stop letting them lose games or tie games. There's no reason you couldn't have held the Packers in that OT. There's no reason that Dwaddle should have been able to end up getting 239 yards, because like Dwaddle warned them. He said it the week before. He said, I warn y'all better get ready because I got something to show you. That's what he said. And you let this man embarrass you. And that's not Dak's fault. Dak played pretty damn flawless. The defense is just generational cheeks, bro. And like, it sucks to see that. Now
it's tough to watch. Because you're putting too much pressure on Dak, and Dak is going to snap a hamstring or something, God forbid, because you're relying on him to keep you in these games. You know,
you're making me knock on wood, you son of a bitch. But I will tell you, here's the thing that I think is very interesting that we really need to take a genuine look at here. One, I stand by who have the Colts played.
Yeah, totally fair.
The only team is the Broncos, and you squeak that out with a 1-point victory. You're now playing the Chargers, who aren't great. They're kind of all over the place, but that gives you at least somewhat of a challenge. Titans just fired the coach, so we're not worried about them. The Steelers are somehow holding on and doing what they're doing, so that might be a little bit of a challenge.
Right.
Can't say about the Falcons. It feels like they just played a really good game last night.
They might be back.
They might be back.
They kicked my Commanders and they beat these Bills. You got to take notice.
So that looks like a challenge. Then you got the Chiefs. That's going to be a real challenge.
Oh yeah.
Texans, at the very least, what I can give the Texans is that defense don't play. So you're really going to put it to Daniel Jones in a division game to see how good you can actually do. The Jaguars are apparently pretty legit. The Niners are legit. The Seahawks are pretty legit. So you got to deal with 2 Jaguars games, the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Texans again. So you have like a death row gambit starting with the Steelers on.
Yeah.
I want to see what the Colts do then. And someone pointed out with the Lions, all their wins are against subpar teams. The Bears looks pretty good. Like they're not there yet, but they're starting to come out of their shell. Yeah. Like maybe they needed that shellacking to wake up, but they lost to the Packers, like a pretty decent team.
Yeah.
You beat the Ravens, but the Ravens are apparently horrible.
Yes.
You beat the Browns, but the Browns are also horrible. You beat the Bengals, but the Bengals are also horrible. And then you came up against the Chiefs and they beat your ass.
Yeah.
What happens this week now with Baker Mayfield, who is on a tear? What happens, when you get to the Commanders, which I know that was a sad loss, but you guys are still holding it together pretty well. What happens if the Eagles figure out the problem?
Yeah, 3 turnovers, and we still had a chance to win that game. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So like you haven't really faced any true challenges. The Lions haven't, and when you have, you got whooped. So I'm also very worried about the Lions, man. And then the last thing with the Ravens, I mean, look, the only way that Lamar comes back, and he's a baller, I feel like he will. Here's your schedule, pretty cupcake. Bears, we're giving them about a mid-grade now. They're finally kind of coming into their own. Lamar can go and beat that team. Dolphins, that's a wrap. Go beat the Dolphins. Vikings haven't really proven anything to me really at this point. Go beat the Vikings. Browns, Go beat the Browns. Jets, winless. Go beat the Jets. Bengals, if Joey B is back that game,
don't die, man. Are you okay?
I just need to cough. There we go.
Hello.
So then you got what? Bengals, Steelers, Bengals.
Yeah.
Patriots who look good. Packers, Steelers. So you would need to then run the table to do anything. So if you feel like you can get the get right game and get these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, do that. You would need to do that. And then that would put you at 6-5.
Yeah.
And then from there, you really cannot screw up going forward with then legitimate threats.
Yeah.
In the Steelers, Patriots, Packers, Steelers again. And then if Joey B's back and balling, 2 games against the Bengals. So,
I mean, you can see us in it, but I mean, it's the defense that's the problem. It would be different if like they were squeaking out losses. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they were losing, but it was close, but they're getting blown out in games. And that to me tells me that no matter who's the quarterback, it's the defense that's the issue. So you got a Lamar coming off of injury. Are you going to risk his long-term health to have him play to carry this team when the defense isn't going to do its job to keep you in these games anyway? I think it's dangerous. I think they can absolutely, there's no reason to believe they couldn't run the table if they wanted to with a healthy Lamar and a good defense, because I think the Steelers are pretenders. I think the Bengals, they'll get Joe Burrow back for the second game, but the first game you're going to be playing the Joe Flacco Bengals. You can crush the Dolphins, Jets, as you said, the Browns, the Vikings possibly, they might be frisky. The Patriots will be tough. Packers could be tough. Steelers won't be. So I think there's a possibility here. But honestly, if you lose another game or two and he can't go, like, you got to wrap it up, because you don't want to risk him getting injured for a lost season. It doesn't make any sense.
No, you definitely don't want to do that. But I also think that there's no way that John doesn't attempt to get him out there.
Oh, sure.
Because I think he's playing for his job right now.
That's a good point.
We're already in a stage when you're 1-5.
Right.
He's kind of playing for his job.
Right. Well, what do you make of these Giants, man? I mean, are they going to take the Commanders slot? Like, are we not going to make the playoffs, and somehow the Commanders are going to take that wild card in the NFC East? Like,
that's actually pretty interesting to think about. I mean, we've still got a half game on them.
Yeah. True.
Let's look at their schedule, because the truth is they were 4th, so that means they should have an easier schedule overall. But let's see.
Right.
Shit, dude, they got to play the Broncos.
Then
they got to play the Eagles again, which I know you beat them once before. You just beat them, but I gotta believe.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you were in New York, and B,
on a Thursday. Yeah.
There is no way that the Eagles don't take that licking and go, oh hell no, unless the Eagles collapse is fully happening. I don't believe a full collapse is happening, but I think that one loss wasn't enough. They needed a wake-up call, and losing to the worst team in the division, that's a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Because you damn near, again, the Eagles damn near almost lost to us week 1.
Yeah.
Like, which would, like, how many games did they almost lose? And I kept saying that, and everybody's like, you're just a hater. Or am I trying to call a spade, bro? Why are you... The Chiefs were not good at the time. Why was it that close? Why was it that close with the Rams and the Buccaneers, that it took special teams, crazy miracle plays of punt blocks or field goal blocks for you to win? That's not a quality win.
Yeah,
that is so they're going to need to put some quality stuff. But I think the Giants are going to make noise. I think you'll be fine. I think don't be so hard on yourself. The Commanders, I ultimately think the Commanders will probably win the division. I think the Eagles right now, just based off of what I'm seeing, and I need to see how this plays out. I think that the Washington steals the division, but Philadelphia still makes it to the playoffs and becomes the bigger threat out of all of the teams in the NFC East that make it. Because I don't think the Eagles will stay there. You know what would be really funny though? And this is one pundit was talking about this. What if you trade AJ Brown to the Patriots? And you give Drake May like a legitimate weapon to go out there and ball out with it, because on top of that, you don't like if AJ Brown is somehow causing some sort of like little riff or something, then you pull that off. You can probably get a steal of stuff for AJ Brown because he's still in his prime.
Yep.
And the Eagles could get right, and the Patriots could become even deadlier. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you trade AJ Brown for some crazy defensive player to help you on that back end and a draft pick or two to like replenish, since Devontae Smith now becomes your number one and you're going to want somebody else down the line.
Yeah,
like that would be crazy.
I didn't want to believe you a few weeks ago. We're going to wrap up on this. I didn't want to believe you a few weeks ago, but these Buccaneers are for real, bro. Like,
there's a reason they were my Super Bowl pick, bro.
I mean, when you said it, I was like, get out of here. Baker's going to choke. But no. I mean, and I said it last week, like, you could argue that he legitimately might get this MVP. Like, he's
probably going to.
6 games into the season, and I have to say, it feels very, very possible if he maintains this level of play and the team is rallying around him. And he's doing this, by the way. He won this game without like his top receivers. Godwin went out. Evans was out for the game. And then the rookie had a concussion. And he was still able to lead them to the victory.
Here's their injury report. You don't have Bucky Irving, your starting running back. You don't have Chris Godwin or Mike Evans, your X and Y receivers. And Ibuka that you had that became this like breakout star. Like you said, he got hurt. Yeah. Lord knows how many different other. Yeah, Jalen McMillan, who's on injured reserve. You lost an O lineman. You lost a safety. You've lost a tight end. You lost a D tackle. You've lost a guard. You've lost another wide receiver. You've lost another safety and another linebacker. Like, you have so many injuries, and he is 5-1 and embarrassing people and at the top of the stats charts. Like, Baker Mayfield will probably end up winning MVP if he continues at this rate. And I hate that Dak Prescott should be in that same conversation, but your defense is actually holding. You have Todd Bowles actually putting a solid defensive front together. Yeah. Whereas what made us think that Eberflus was going to be just this great defensive coordinator? Okay.
Yeah. But a bookie says he damn sure choked against the Eagles. Yeah, sure. But they're 5-1, and then you're allowed to 1. And the one against the defending Super Bowl champions on the last play. I mean, that's not
again. Did they choke, or was that another special teams play? Yeah, that actually saved the Eagles, and then Baker got a little desperate. But any other time he's done that, he's been just fine. Like, let's not forget that it literally, if I remember correctly, was either a punt or a field goal that was blocked yet again. Yeah, and it was special teams bailing out. Yeah, but that's fine. Like I said, Eagles fans don't want to hear it because they're like, we're the champs, blah blah blah. That's fine. Do you want to be the champs, or do you want to be a dynasty? I'm going to keep saying that to them every single time. Do you want to be the Chiefs of the last few years, or do you want to be the one-off like the Seahawks that won the one and then blew it in the next one and then were never heard from again in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with them, because I'm kind of quietly cheering for them now, because like there'll be no greater redemption story in the NFL quite like a person who was thought to be a washed out, time was over quarterback who never panned out, goes to another team, rebuilds himself, could win the MVP and possibly win the Super Bowl, and maybe even the Super Bowl MVP. That would just be enough. They would build a statue to him in Tampa, for God's sakes.
Absolutely. And Al Boogie, let me tell you something right now. I'm glad he's in here, because I knew if you said Eagles too many times, he would appear like the Candyman.
He's the Candyman. The Eagles.
Eagles. Like, all of a sudden, who the fuck talking about my Eagles? Yes, special teams is a part of the game. I'll tell you that all day, because the greatest kicker of all time plays for the Cowboys. But let me ask you a question. Who is winning games to the wire, and winning championships because the best of their 3 units is their special teams unit? One of the primary units needs to be the star of the show, and special teams needs to be that icing on the cake. Yeah. Your defense is letting too many people score on them. Your offense doesn't know what their identity is anymore. The best unit you have on the field is your special teams. That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. No. All right. So
I didn't say it wasn't important. I said it can't be the star. That's come on, man. The dude, you Lil Rel is amazing in Get Out. He does not make the movie. All right. He does not make the movie. He is what puts it to the next level. If Daniel Kaluuya isn't so convincing in The Sunken Place, if the lifelessness in the eyes of Allison Williams, when she's like eating the separated Fruit Loops and drinking the milk while looking at WNCA top prospects, if that shit don't hit, ain't nobody care about Lil Rel's ass.
It's true. That's real. Yeah. And speaking of Lil ass, Lil Rel, come on, dog. You're gonna become a skeleton before it's all over, bro. Come on, eat a sandwich or something. He is so skinny now. Have you seen him?
I did. I saw him when he was on what's her name? Jennifer Hudson.
Oh yeah.
No, he looks good, but like I didn't know if he lost more. If he lost more, that can be a little scary.
He's too skinny. You
think he's too skinny?
I do. All right. How much time you got? Because we got to jump into
the
questions. Or do you want to say anything quickly about the WNBA and the Aces winning? I feel like
congratulations to the Aces, man. Dynasty. The three titles, 4 years. Like the 3-time MVP, helping you lead the way for that, or 4-time MVP. Excuse me. Swept in the finals. I mean, I understand that you're dealing with some injuries there, but congratulations.
Yeah. Is the Dewanna Bonne hate warranted or not warranted? Some of these memes were cracking me up, bro.
I don't remember what she did.
Well, she left the Fever and claimed, she quit the Fever and claimed that she had harassment and racism and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people came after her for that. And then after the Aces won, there were a lot of Dewanna Bonne memes on Twitter. And she called them cyberbullying. But some of them are really funny. So
wow. I don't know. Maybe I need to go and look this up, but like I'll tell you this. I understand that y'all were dealing with injuries, but y'all didn't make no finals. So maybe get off Dewanna Bonne's back. Like, like what, like I get that you were like hanging on by a thread and you were really sticking it and you were hanging in there. But at the end of the day, she made a finals. It is what it is. At the end of the day, nobody goes back and goes, man, that was a team that really had a lot of injuries that year. They go, you either won or you didn't win. Yeah. So
it's true. I just think they were mad for being painted a certain way, especially because there are a number of great black players on the team who have never had any of those kinds of issues. And the fact that she went to play with her wife in Phoenix, like people felt it was a little bit of a convenient narrative.
Now the best meme by far, Asia Wilson, the first player in basketball history to hit a game-winning shot over a married couple. That was fantastic. I thought that was hilarious, but also amazing.
My favorite Dewanna Bonne one was that she tried to quit the Mercury at halftime and join the Aces before the second half. That was kind of funny. Anyway,
wow.
Let's get to the questions and shout out to the Aces. And especially Asia, incredible.
She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT.
And the coach. I mean, like that's Becky Hammond. Like they asked Mark Davis in the press conference, what's it like having, they said something like Becky Hammond wasn't the highest paid coach in the WNBA and she's still winning titles. And Mark says she isn't. And that might lead to a raise. So that reporter should get a percentage of whatever raise she got.
Dude, I mean, I think this further solidifies that the greatest basketball coach of all time is Greg Popovich, because this is off of his coaching tree.
Yes, 100%. You're so right.
Because she was able to help coach the Spurs herself in his absence. Yeah.
She's got to move over to the NBA. Like, I mean, there are a lot of shitty male coaches in the NBA. She can outcoach a lot of the male coaches.
If she wants to, I think she's having fun out here kicking ass and starting a dynasty in the dub, man.
That's true. I'll take her on the Wizards right fucking now. Cowboys fan 92 says, hey, Marshall, hope you're good. Damn your Cowboys defense, man. We were right there. We had that game, man, but our team could not hold the line. Plus, missing those 2 touchdowns, that would have sealed it. Also, man, that WNBA season was crazy along with the finals. Unlike some, I stayed locked in on the W after Clark got injured. Congrats, Vegas. Go Fever and Wings.
I say go Wings, go Spurs, but obviously go Aces. That's who I was pulling for once my Spurs and Wings were knocked out. All that being said, the Cowboys are it's hilarious to me. Jerry Jones was like, we're going to stop the run. We have problems stopping the run. And so we feel like this Micah trade will give us the opportunity to stop the run. You know, Clark is very good. Rocha, you want to take a wild guess where the Cowboys rank in defense now that Micah is gone?
32nd?
They are 32nd in defense since losing Micah, which proves that Micah was actually preventing the team from going off of a cliff.
One person. Crazy.
But that goes to show how good he was.
Yeah.
Just by the nature of putting that much pressure on the quarterback, it saved a lot of stuff. And to be honest, it's why I love Diggs and I love Brand, and I know that they're not Bland and they're not quite healthy fully. But when you put the pressure on the quarterback, he has to make a shitty throw, and these corners that were ball hogs like that can go great, yoink. But if they have plenty of time and then they can get beat up, the number of times I've seen Diggs fall over or get too excited about trying to get an interception and instead jumps and gets beat.
Yeah.
It's because you had Micah applying that pressure and now you can't.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 100%, man. And look how amazing he's been on the Packers. Michael Miles says, this problem I see with the finale is in James Gunn's mind, setting up Salvation and Checkmate is the equivalent to setting up Crisis and Justice League. I agree 100%. And I think this is what drives me nuts. The comic book nerds in our bubble are like, you guys don't get it. It was amazing what he did. The fact that the casuals don't get it is a issue. All right. He is not directing movies for the 5 to 10% of you or shows that get the Salvation thing. He's supposed to be bringing in the 90% of the other people that don't get it. All right. He's not making shows for you comic book nerds sitting in the back of your comic book shops, reading your comic books on your stools. He's supposed to be doing it for everybody. And so when you pitch and hype that this finale is going to be this amazing thing, and then it's like things that 90% of the audience doesn't fucking know about, it doesn't make sense. It's not as groundbreaking as he pitched it to be, in my opinion.
It's just not. It's not. You need to be able to do both because the thing about superhero movies, they're supposed to be 4-quadrant movies and 4-quadrant shows, and that doesn't mean you don't put your fan service in there. You do, but like you have got to do something that keeps everybody in it. And if you're too inside baseball, you're going to scare off casuals. And if you scare off casuals, the budgets go down. If the budgets go down,
it's not going to look good. Doug Developer says, my shitty Jets are drafting a quarterback, ... again. This time I want to draft a quarterback who worked hard, overcame obstacles, then won with God-given talent. Examples, Rodgers and Allen had to start in community college. Baker was a walk-on. Burrow had to transfer. Lamar Jackson went to Louisville because it was the only school that promised him that he would play QB. And Brady said that he was so depressed in Michigan he wanted to transfer to Cal, but instead he worked his way up the depth chart to finally start. That said, my Jets will probably fuck him up anyway. Thank you, Doug, for all those contributions.
Thank you for all of those amazing super chats and taking me down the history of the Jets being a dumpster fire organization. I honestly think, and this is what's hard, to see Sam Darnold having a resurgence.
Good.
I gotta point out that I think it's your organization.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say that. And it's kind of the same thing I've said at times about the Cowboys. The funny thing is we find a way to actually bring the best out of the players, but then we fall apart as a team. Something is wrong there. Right. But like there is something specific with the New York Jets. I don't know what keeps happening, but like you do end up taking people with incredible talent and then you shit the bed. I don't understand.
It's Woody. It's fucking Woody, man. When you have a bad owner, it bleeds that energy bleeds all the way down.
Bleeds through.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like even where's Zach Wilson now? Isn't he backing up somebody right now? Zach? I thought he was backing up people in the NFL. He's
backing up somebody. I don't remember.
Miami. Right. He's with Miami now, Zach. Backing up.
Oh, Lord. Tua. We'll put him in because I would trust him over Tua.
Yeah, Tua's gone, man. No offense to him. They even had Joe Flacco in 2020. Bro. And Flacco's still doing his thing, bro.
Bro, Tua out here saying, we're having like player meetings and people like are showing up. You know what that means, bro? Your teammates don't respect you anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
Tyreek Hill was applauding with his knee shattered in a million pieces that he didn't have to attempt to catch balls from you anymore, bro. Lord Jesus.
Imagine a Patriots player missing a Tom Brady-led meeting. For you, fucking insane.
You would never play again. You would be cut from the team.
Yeah.
Brady would immediately have you cut.
Yeah, exactly. Fred Tessa, if Scotabo had a mohawk, he'd be John Riggins. Oh, 100%. I am jealous. Yeah, I mean, Riggins wasn't a crazy nutball like Scotabo.
I never saw the movie. I just saw the show, and I love that Riggins too, man.
Oh yeah.
Scotabo seems like he just drinks beers and crushes the cans on his head as his warm up. Like when they're like, "All right, everybody, go get water before we start practice." He crushes a Bud Light on his head after drinking it, and then goes and gets ready to do 7-on-7.
For those who get the reference, he's Mongo in Blazing Saddles. That's what he is. Scotabo run ball. Scotabo run ball.
I said watching him is like watching Forrest Gump. Honestly, it's watching Forrest Gump play for Alabama and literally run the length of the stadium past and through everybody and then run right out the tunnel.
Run, Scotabo, run.
I was running.
Masters McCall says Beth Snyder in here saying Joe Burrow spokesman for Life Alert. Oh, yikes. Come on now.
I mean, we said this before. I hate this because I love Joey B.
Yeah.
He is genuinely looking like the reincarnation of Andrew Luck right now. An insane amount of talent that just because of injuries will not meet his full potential.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned about it.
What if in the end his greatest season was the season he went to the Super Bowl and that's it? And that was like literally one of his first couple of seasons.
He would have then done more than Andrew Luck.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, Luck.
That's about it.
Dude, Luck was incredible, man.
He was so good.
I know, dude. Fuck, man. I was so sad when he retired, but also I totally got it. Like, that is so exhausting to constantly be injured and have to rehab all the time. That's not what you want to do with your life, you know? Yeah. JM says RIP Drew Struzan, right? Elevators Field Detroit. Yeah, we lost him this morning. Another great artist gone, bro. Drew Struzan.
Those are recipes, man.
Yeah. So many posters, so many iconic posters from him. And what an incredible artist. RIP for sure. Francisco Lopez says he's got one of two. In Peacemaker, I have no problem not exploring more Earth X because one, they are there to get Chris back. Two, I don't see the reason to liberate the colored people unless Leota and Judo Master were captured and put on there. Three, that's not their Earth and their battle. It's just my opinion. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. Hey, it's not my Earth, not my battle. Sorry, guys. Sorry that I'm watching human beings being enslaved. Fuck it, it's not my Earth, not my fucking problem. What hero does that? What are you talking about, Francisco? Do you see other people getting killed in other countries and go, you know what, not my fucking problem, not my country? Come on, man.
You don't have to go that hard on Francisco, but I think that I know, but where I push back is think about what Augie actually said. Oh, good for you if on your planet, every time something evil happens, that you actually go up and stop it. Augie essentially called them out on their hypocrisy of trying to be like, you live in a Nazi planet. Okay. Have you solved every problem? Is your Earth a utopia? So I think what the issue is, you're opening up something that on its own, it's what my frustration has been with X-Men constantly trying to do the Dark Phoenix saga. This is not something you squeeze in 2 seconds and do whatever. It is the buildup of how the Phoenix actually is such an important entity to the universe. But then when she tastes emotions, she loses it. And you kidnap Jean in the process, and now it's an existential threat to everything. You're trying to do that in a 90 to 2 hour movie. That's insane. That's a saga. That could have literally been, if you were treating it like phases in the MCU, that could have been a whole phase of the X-Men extended universe or whatever Fox was doing.
Right.
Yeah. Earth X is not we're kind of using it as like a little teaser for something that could have been dedicated for an entire season. Yeah. That is my problem. You were taking on something bigger than what you gave it proper time for.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Corcoran says, have you seen Smiling Friends? New season's funny as fuck. I don't watch Smiling Friends. Do you watch Smiling Friends, Winston, on Netflix?
I don't. I've heard good things, but I do not.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, Chris. Thanks for the suggestion, though. I think we tried to watch an episode one night, and Lindley was like, turn this fucking shit off after 10 minutes. So it wasn't. She doesn't like weird animated shit. It's not really her jam.
Then I highly recommend, and maybe it's just a you watch. I want to say it's either called like Side Effects or something like that.
Oh yes, Side Effects. Yes.
Not the movie. It was like hold on,
the animated one. Yeah,
animated Common Side Effects.
Yes,
Common Side Effects is fantastic. And you want to talk about really taking it to the pharmaceutical industry? Holy shit, it is so good. I cannot wait I hope there's a second season.
Right on. All right, let's hit these 3 Streamlabs. We get out of here once I know you got to go. So Fredtastic says, Fredtastic 314 says, hey, T-Killers, a good weekend of football for me. Texas won, the Cowboys were the Cowboys, and Bijan went off, man. Question, is there a Christmas movie that gets put on your rotation this time of year? For me, and I'm proud to say it, it's Red One. It is fun. Oh, my God. Fred, you have the most unusual tastes, bro. I love you and respect you, and I thank you so much that you watch my content and contribute. But I got to say, man, your tastes are so out there sometimes, brother. Much love to you, though. Red One, I did not like Red One at all, man.
I never saw Red One because everybody kept saying how bad it was. I mean, we watch Christmas Vacation every year. I watch Friday After Next every year. I watch Jingle All the Way every year, but not now. We haven't even hit Halloween. What the hell you mean? Is there a Christmas movie on my rotation right now, bro? Can we get through Thanksgiving? Get me through Thanksgiving, and then I start watching Christmas movies.
No, I'm jumping into it November 1st. And
What's wrong with you?
I don't believe in Thanksgiving. It's nothing. To me, it's Christmas for 2 months. God damn it.
Jesus Christ.
Especially with how crazy the world is. I need to disappear into a fake fantasy of snowy mountainside.
Angry as your ass is, you watch Christmas movies since November? I don't believe that.
I love Christmas.
You're going to sit down. You're going to love Christmas.
Yeah, I'm dysfunctional about Christmas. Everybody's happy.
What movie is that? I can't remember, where the mom literally has a breakdown of, you're gonna sit there, you're gonna say happy holidays, and you're gonna eat this goddamn. I can't remember what movie that is. Hold on.
I would say Just Friends is one that I always add to my rotation for around Christmas. I love Just Friends. I've recently started adding the Hawkeye series. I love the Hawkeye series for Christmas. It's so perfect for Christmas. Obviously, Love Actually, Elf, all those other ones that I had that I love to watch at Christmas time as well. And It's a Wonderful Life, of course. That's one of my favorites, bar none.
Nice.
I love to watch cheesy, like Four Christmases. I will defend, I'll tell you this. I'm really critical about all kinds of movies, but Christmas movies get such a pass with me that it's so unfair. Like, I'll even watch Saving Christmas, the Ben Affleck one. I even like that.
I know that one. Yeah. Four Christmases is actually funny though. Just for Favreau and his wife playing Taboo.
Oh my God.
Just that scene. That thing we did last night. Anal. Yes. Like just the fact that they know these clues, and every time he gets yes. Like it's just
I love those things, man. I even watch the Hallmark Channel, those cheesy Christmas movies on the Hallmark Channel. God help me. Fantastic 314 says, hey, Tequilas, I'm completely on your side except for this. When starting a new venture, I can see why James Gunn is so hands-on. You want to get your creation going in the right direction before you hand it off to your minions. Well, yes, but Feige didn't do that. Feige wasn't out there directing these films. He got the right people involved, got them on task, got them to buy into the vision, and they delivered. These people are not minions. Craig Gillespie is not a minion. Like, these are great directors. He was talking to Luca Guadagnino. Like, these are incredibly talented people. So I think that there's a little bit of James's ego to want to do this thing. You can't tell me there aren't great Superman directors out there he could hire to do Superman, for God's sake.
I'm not even saying that he couldn't have done that. But again, I think what the issue is just that you're not specifically, like, you weren't hired as chief director of DC Studios. You were hired as CEO and studio head of DC Studios, meaning you have more responsibilities than the individual projects. You were in charge of them all. So unless we want to just make Peter Safran the full-blown CEO to handle that, and then he's allowed to just kind of go do what he wants.
Yeah,
sure. But that's not kind of what this was. And what I worry about, again, is what he himself said. He's burning out.
Yeah.
You're burning out because you're doing too much.
Yep.
I do that so often. As someone with ADHD, that's something I had to learn very quickly. Why I keep getting into trouble is I try and do too much.
Yep. You burn yourself out. People used to say that about me years ago because I was hosting shows on all these different channels and doing my podcast. And like, eventually you just hit that wall. Like, it's because you want to do a lot, because you want to be known, you want to be seen. Even at Collider, sometimes I would butt heads with some of the production because they were like, why do you want to do everything? And the thing is, I wanted to do everything so I could learn as quickly as possible. But I see now in retrospect how that could have come off as I was trying to be egotistical, when it was actually me just wanting to learn as quickly as possible because I was older than everybody else, and I had more time I had time to catch up on that kind of stuff, But I hear you. You're absolutely right. You eventually hit that wall. Tim says, Johnny boy, any chances that you become an F1 fan? Not the movie, but the sport. Oh, Netflix's Drive to Survive is a good way to know the drama that goes on with the sport. Tim, I got to be honest with you. I've thought about it many, many times. It just seems so overwhelming to learn F1. But maybe you're right. Maybe I'll give a chance to Drive to Survive. And if I like it, I'll start to get some terminology and knowledge about this stuff and maybe open the door to it. I'm always interested in something new to enjoy. And F1 is certainly, just from watching F1, I know that it's a really fantastic sport and people are really in love with it. And it's global, which I kind of like because I'm a big soccer fan. So Doug Developer says, yes, I sound like a jealous Jets fan, but let's cool down with the Jackson Dart glazing. The Eagles were an emotionally broken team going into enemy territory in a short week. So the Giants
they were an emotionally broken team.
Anyway.
Okay. All I've heard from El Boogie and every other Eagles fan is that they're the champs and we're all haters. So
I think
which is it? Which is it? Am I a hater or and they're kings, or are they emotionally broken and downtrodden? Poor Saquon.
You're the defending champs. This idea of being emotionally broken doesn't ever factor into it. You're the defending champs.
You don't call yourself top dog and be like, I was having a rough day. Like you think Batman, you think because they love to call themselves like the big dog. You think Batman is like, hey Joker, you know what, man? I'm so sorry. Like I know you're one of my greatest rivals. I just can't do it today, man. I'm emotionally broken. All right. I'm emotionally broken.
Come at me, dog.
That's fair. That's fair, El Boogie. From one NFC East fan to another, it is you challenging my opinion. I get that, but I think it's kind of crazy to call them emotionally broken. I know you didn't do it, but I think that's crazy.
Yeah. Hey.
Did somebody die? Like, did somebody did somebody's on the team? Like, did they like lose a loved one or something? That's emotionally broken. You know what I mean?
They got beat.
Did one of your top players have a season-ending injury or a career-ending injury? You know, knock on wood that none of that would happen. That's emotionally broken because you lost a game. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's the next week.
Welcome to the NFL. Exactly. Like, give me a break. The defending champions. Give me a break.
If anything, they smell blood in the water. If the Eagles do not get it together, people are like, oh yeah. I mean, they can get got. Let's get them then.
Yeah, man. You're only as good as the illusion of how good you are.
Some of our fans do act emotionally broken.
Well, yeah. That's why they eat horse shit even when they win the Super Bowl, which makes no sense. Haskell 420 says, hey guys, Woody is trash. We may be trading. Oh, sorry, Winston, let me bring that up. Sorry about that. I know we've got to run here, but he said, here we go. Said, hey guys, Woody is trash. We may be trading Breece Hall, who is a stud running back who can catch. What good team would become a serious Super Bowl threat with him at running back? I don't know.
I mean, if you send Breece to, because right now Javante's doing great, so I don't even feel like we necessarily need him. But I'm trying to think. Let's look at the.
I'll tell you who it is. It's the Chiefs. If the Chiefs get Breece Hall,
dude, it's over. If they get it, I've just give them the title. If they do it, they're winning the Super Bowl. Period. Because they've got their offense back together. But now you give them a legitimate run threat because Pacheco hasn't been the same.
Right.
Oh my God, it's over. Or the Chargers. Because the Chargers lost all of their starting running backs, that they automatically become a massive threat. I'm trying to think who else.
I mean, Vidal looked good, but you don't know what you've got in unknown like Vidal. You've got something in Breece Hall. You know what Breece Hall
and is. Maybe even the Buccaneers, depending on. I mean, Rachaad White did a great job, and Bucky should be back. So, but I think we kind of nailed it on any of those teams would really be the answer, and that would be. You guys. Oh, yeah, dude, you got Breece.
That's just gonna say
you got Breece. I think you very easily clear the division.
I 100% agree with you because I love Bill, but he's got fumbling issues and he's a rookie. This other guy, Rodriguez, is not getting the job done consistently. I don't think Robinson would have been that much better than he is in San Francisco. So if we got Breece, I think
I think he would have been because he held it down for you guys last year. So I thought that was a mistake. If y'all got Breece Hall,
I mean, I would do it.
I'm actually. Let me look at your schedule real quick. I know we got to go.
You don't got to ask me twice. I would absolutely.
If you got Breece, especially before this, you whoop up on us this weekend. You probably stick it to the Chiefs. You stick it to the Seahawks. The Lions aren't as heavy as I thought. You destroy the Dolphins.
Yeah.
You beat the Broncos. You beat the Vikings. You beat the Giants. I don't think you lose another game. like if I'm being real, bro, we forget how good Breece Hall is. He is so good. They are just so bad.
I mean, if the Patriots if the Chiefs aren't looking at the situation and trying to get him, they're insane because Rashee Rice comes back next week. And if you get Breece Hall before the November 4th trade deadline, fucking wrap up the season, bro. Wrap up the season, man. I swear to God.
The fact that the top rusher for the Chiefs right now is Mahomes is not good. Like, God help them, help the world if they get Breece Hall.
Yeah, exactly. God help us all. Doug, real quick, says, Winston, I believe I'm near your age. I was born in May of 1988. Only 2 starting quarterbacks right now are older than me. So surreal that in a few years I'll be older than every quarterback in the league. Feeling old, Winston?
Yeah, I mean, look, the fact that most of the stars in leagues that are starting to retire are just barely older than me is a mind fuck for sure. And I remember thinking as a kid, wow, these athletes, those are adults. They're genuinely just kids that became very rich very quickly. But because they also play professional sports, they probably had hormones flowing through them since they were 5. So
like fuck you and Doug. I try being me, who has lived through the Phil Simms era and his son Chris Simms era, and now I've lived through the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. I was even there for the Archie Manning era, and now we've got his fucking nephew, his grandson, his grandnephew is out playing here, possibly in the NFL in a couple of years if he can turn his career around in college. So you're all going to get there eventually, man. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I see I2Fly Cam talking shit. Look, I support the Hawks because my lady's a Hawks fan, but I will stand by what I said. Who have you beat? You got whooped up on by the Niners and you lost to the Bucks. So yes, the Jags are a winning team right now, so good win on that. But who trusts Trevor Lawrence? And okay, so let's see what you do against the Texans, and then let's see what you do against the Commanders. I would love to see how y'all handle stuff going forward, bro. Don't come at me talking about no cowgirls and L Commanders.
You say I feel ancient, bro. I lost 50 pounds. I feel reborn, bitch. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you all so much for hanging out. And thanks to Winston, especially for hanging out a little bit extra with us. We appreciate it badly. Thanks for the Streamlabs super chats. Thanks for the lively chat. I love that a lot of you are coming back every week to hang out with us and building the numbers. We got to get those numbers higher. So please do us a favor and share these shows. Share when we tweet them out that they're coming. Put them on your channel, because like when you tweet it out, you're letting your followers know that you're excited about the show and they may try us out and sample us. So we would appreciate that. Winston, another great show, brother. Please let people know where they can find you and all you got coming up this week.
Absolutely. You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all platforms. Blurred Breakdown was pushed. I actually may have just booked another commercial to direct. If that's the case. These are like small social things, but it's still pays good money. I'm not. You're right. Don't denigrate it. If that's the case, then I will probably not do a show at all this week. But the goal was to do it on Thursday. But I gotta check out the schedule first. But tomorrow, Blurreds in the Hood, myself and Jay Washington, youtube.com/Blurreds in the Hood. So definitely come and hang with us. Got a big show planned for tomorrow. Some cool announcements, stuff like that. So you don't want to miss all of that. And then Capes and Cows on Friday, as well as these Demon Slayer reactions with Christian. We're really enjoying it. We're getting close to the end of the first season, man. If y'all want us to continue for the following seasons, then we need people to continue to watch and get those numbers up. So same thing. If you're an anime fan, blast that out everywhere.
There you go. And remember, as Karen said to us here, Karen saying October 18th is no King's Day, and you know how we feel about things. So please make sure if you want to get out there, join a protest on Saturday. I certainly will be out there with the Lady Outlaw. So if you want to,
absolutely.
Want to support
also, L Boogie, good for you, man. I just saw he said he lost 50 pounds as well. Congrats. That's a great way to end the show.
You're not ancient anymore. No, you're not ancient, L Boogie. Good job. Yeah, that's right. As for you can follow me at The Rocha Says. Please remember to subscribe down below. Please, we're so close to 40,000. Subscribe down below. Hit that bell button. Tell other people about the channel. We got so much great content here. Would really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out again. You all take care of yourselves. Be well, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Spill the Tequila. Peace.